Under a blanket of deep indigo sky, dotted with sleepy silver stars, a little llama named Lulu trotted softly along a winding meadow path. The cool night breeze ruffled her fluffy fur, carrying with it the scent of lavender and fresh rain. Crickets hummed gently in the grass, and somewhere in the distance, an owl let out a soft, comforting hoot. Tonight wasn't an ordinary night. Tonight, Lulu was going on a quiet adventure to the Starry Lake, a magical place that only appeared when the moon hung low and the world was still enough to dream. Please subscribe to our channel and tell me in comments from where are you watching this video. Lulu's little hooves made no sound on the mossy path as she walked slowly, her lantern swaying beside her, casting a warm glow around her. She loved nighttime walks, especially when the forest whispered softly, its leaves brushing together like pages of a bedtime story. The fireflies followed her in tiny glowing clusters, floating above the tall grass like they wanted to keep her company. Each step felt gentle, like the earth itself was guiding her toward a secret waiting in the quiet distance. She stopped by a field of moonflowers that opened only at night, their pale petals glowing faintly under the stars. Lulu leaned down and gave them a little sniff, sighing happily at their sweet scent. She knew she was getting closer to the lake because the air felt different here, softer, cooler, and filled with the kind of magic that makes you want to curl under a blanket of dreams. In the distance, past a curve in the meadow, Lulu saw a faint shimmer rising into the sky like a mirror reflecting the stars. Her little heart fluttered with excitement. The Starry Lake was awake tonight, waiting just for her. With a small, sleepy smile, she trotted forward, lantern swinging gently, ready to step into a world where water glowed like moonlight and every ripple whispered a promise of calm and wonder. Lulu's tiny lantern swayed softly as she continued her quiet journey, the golden light painting a warm trail through the dark meadow. The closer she got to the Starry Lake, the more magical the night seemed to become. The breeze turned cooler and carried a faint, sweet fragrance, like fresh rain mixed with honey and wildflowers. Fireflies drifted lazily around her, their tiny lights twinkling like earthbound stars, guiding her toward the shimmering glow ahead. She passed under a tall willow tree whose branches draped low, almost like a curtain made of leaves and moonbeams. As Lulu brushed against them, they swayed gently, making a soft shhh sound, as though the tree itself was whispering, "You're almost there, little dreamer." The ground beneath her hooves felt velvety and damp with dew, every step pressing softly into the moss, springy and comforting. After a few more quiet steps, the path opened into a wide clearing, and Lulu's breath caught in wonder. Before her stretched the Starry Lake, glowing under the moonlight like a piece of the sky had fallen to earth. The water was perfectly still, reflecting every star above as if they were floating just beneath its surface. Tiny glimmers of light rippled gently whenever a breeze passed, making the whole lake sparkle softly, like someone had sprinkled silver dust across its surface. Lulu stood at the edge, her big round eyes shining with awe. She'd heard stories about this place from Mama Llama, stories about how the lake gathered dreams from the stars and sent them gently to every creature in the valley while they slept. Tonight, Lulu wanted to see that magic herself, to watch the stars touch the water and feel the peace everyone always talked about. She found a soft patch of grass near the shoreline and set her lantern down. Its glow blended perfectly with the lake's shimmer, creating a little circle of warmth around her. She lay down on the grass, her legs tucked under her, and tilted her head back to look at the vast sky above. The stars seemed closer here, like they were leaning down to watch over her. Some twinkled brightly, while others glowed faintly, blinking slowly like they were drifting off to sleep themselves. As she gazed, Lulu noticed something extraordinary. A single star above flickered brighter than the rest and then slowly floated downward, drifting through the air like a glowing feather. It landed on the lake's surface without making a sound, sending soft ripples across the water. Where the star touched, the lake glowed brighter, and tiny beams of light swirled upward like ribbons, floating gently into the night air. Lulu gasped softly, her heart swelling with wonder. This was the Starry Lake's magic, dreams being born before her eyes. The water stirred again, this time glowing in soft shades of blue and gold. The ripples formed shapes, tiny animals curled under blankets, little birds resting in nests, and other peaceful scenes that made Lulu's chest feel warm and full. She watched, mesmerized, as more stars drifted down to the lake, one by one, each sending new glowing dreams into the sky. It felt like the whole night was alive with kindness, filling every sleeping heart in the world with safety and love. Lulu let out a content sigh and rested her chin on the soft grass. A firefly landed gently on her ear, its light pulsing slowly, almost in rhythm with the quiet heartbeat of the night. She closed her eyes for a moment, listening to the soft sounds around her, the faint ripple of the water, the low hum of crickets, the whisper of leaves in the breeze. Everything felt so still, so safe, as if the lake was wrapping the entire meadow in a blanket of peace. She opened her eyes again just in time to see a shooting star streak across the sky, leaving a trail of silver light that seemed to fall directly into the lake. This time, the water responded with a brighter glow, and Lulu felt a tingle run through her fur, a warmth that reached straight to her heart. The magic of the Starry Lake wasn't just for others, it was for her, too, a gentle promise that her dreams tonight would be soft, kind, and filled with wonder. With a little smile, Lulu whispered softly to the lake, "Thank you for sharing your dreams with me." Her voice floated across the water like a feather, vanishing into the shimmering glow. In return, a soft ripple reached the shore where she lay, glowing faintly, as if the lake was whispering back, "Sweet dreams, little one." Lulu curled herself tighter on the grass, her lantern casting a cozy halo of light around her. She felt the cool mist of the lake on her fur, smelled the sweet scent of moonflowers drifting on the breeze, and listened as the night's lullaby surrounded her completely. And for the first time, she understood why everyone said the Starry Lake was a place where dreams were born. It wasn't just magic in the water or the stars. It was the feeling of perfect peace that made you believe every dream tonight would be the sweetest you'd ever have. Lulu lay quietly in the soft grass for a long while, watching the Starry Lake shimmer like a living painting under the moonlight. The night wrapped around her like a blanket, warm and cool all at once, making her eyelids flutter with the kind of sleepiness that feels safe, like being rocked gently in loving arms. But she didn't want to close her eyes just yet. There was still so much wonder to see. A faint rustle came from behind her, followed by a soft hoo-hoo. Lulu turned her fluffy head and saw a small, round owl perched on a low branch nearby. His feathers glowed faintly under the moonlight, and his big amber eyes twinkled kindly. "Hello there, little traveler," the owl said in a voice as soft as the rustling leaves. "The lake has been waiting for you." Lulu blinked in surprise. "For me," she whispered, careful not to disturb the magic around her. The owl hopped closer, his wings making no sound at all. "Yes," he said with a gentle nod. "Every night, the lake shares dreams with the world, but sometimes, it calls special dreamers to watch it work. Tonight, you are one of them." Lulu's heart swelled with quiet joy. She shifted closer to the water's edge, her hooves pressing lightly into the dew-damp grass, and the owl perched beside her. Together, they gazed at the glowing surface of the lake as another star floated down, landing softly and sending out a ripple of light. This time, the ripple formed an image of a little foal leaping happily through a field of endless flowers, its mane glowing like the sun. Lulu gasped softly. "Are those dreams?" she asked. The owl nodded slowly. "Each star carries a dream for someone who needs it. The lake keeps them safe and sends them out when the night is just right." As they watched, a breeze picked up, and the water began to swirl slowly, forming more dream shapes. Lulu saw a family of rabbits cuddled in a cozy burrow, a tiny bird learning to fly with the help of glowing starlight, and even a little llama, not unlike herself, snuggled under a blanket, a soft smile on its face as it drifted into peaceful sleep. Seeing that made Lulu's chest warm and full, like she was holding a hug that never ended. The owl tilted his head. "You have dreams too, don't you, Lulu?" he asked softly. Lulu nodded shyly. "Sometimes, I dream of exploring the world, finding cozy places like this where everything feels safe and kind." I dream of sharing those places with others so they can feel the same." The owl smiled knowingly. "Then tonight, the lake will remember your dream. When you sleep, it will send you the softest, brightest journey through the stars." Lulu's eyes sparkled as she looked back at the glowing water. It felt alive, like it was listening to every word they said. A soft wave lapped at the shore near her hooves, glowing faintly as if saying, "Yes, we hear you." She dipped one little hoof into the cool water, and to her surprise, it didn't just feel wet, it felt like soft silk, wrapping her in calm. A shimmer spread out from where she touched, and tiny star-shaped ripples danced across the surface, blending into the lake's glow. As they sat together, a family of fireflies drifted over the water, their lights reflecting like floating candles on the glowing surface. The owl fluttered closer to the lake and whispered something Lulu couldn't quite hear. Moments later, a star fell directly in front of them, brighter than the others. It landed on the water, and from its ripple, a scene formed, Lulu herself, standing on a glowing hill under a sky full of shooting stars, surrounded by friends who were smiling and safe. She gasped softly. "That's my dream," she whispered, eyes wide. The owl nodded again, his feathers ruffling in the breeze. "Dreams are never lost here," he said gently. "The lake holds them until they're ready to find you. Tonight, yours has come home." The feeling that filled Lulu's little heart was unlike anything she'd felt before, like joy and comfort and love all wrapped into one. She curled up on the soft grass again, pulling her lantern closer, her gaze fixed on the lake that shimmered brighter now, as if it were tucking her in. The owl settled beside her, wings folded neatly, a silent guardian of the night. Together, they watched as more stars drifted down, sending dreams to every corner of the valley. Some were bright and colorful, others soft and pale, but every one of them carried warmth, kindness, and hope. Lulu thought about all the little creatures out there, falling asleep under the same sky, waiting for these dreams to find them. The thought made her eyes heavy with happiness. The night stretched on, calm and endless, and the lake's glow became softer, wrapping the clearing in a sleepy haze. Lulu let out a long, slow breath and whispered to the owl, "I think I'm ready to dream now." The owl gave a soft, approving hoot. "Then close your eyes, little llama. The Starry Lake will keep you safe, and the dreams you've been waiting for will be here before the first morning light." And with that, Lulu curled tighter into her blanket of grass and lantern glow, listening to the gentle lapping of the water, the distant song of crickets, and the owl's low, comforting hum. Her eyes closed slowly, and the last thing she saw before sleep took her was the lake shining softly, sending her dream into the sky where it would stay forever, waiting to meet her again whenever she needed its light. The night deepened around the Starry Lake, turning the entire meadow into a floating dreamscape, where every blade of grass seemed to glimmer softly, kissed by the starlight above. Lulu lay curled in her little patch of grass, her lantern casting a golden halo around her, the owl perched nearby like a silent, kind guardian. The air was calm, filled with the soothing hum of crickets, the soft rustle of leaves, and the distant ripple of water carrying dreams across the lake. But this night wasn't done weaving its magic yet. A gentle glow began to rise from the far end of the lake, brighter than the moon, yet soft as a feather drifting in the wind. Lulu blinked drowsily, lifting her head just enough to see the light slowly moving closer. The owl gave a quiet, approving hoot. "Ah," he whispered, "the dream keepers are visiting tonight. Not many are lucky enough to see them." Curiosity fluttered in Lulu's sleepy heart like a little bird. She stood slowly, her tiny hooves pressing into the damp, cool grass, and turned her gaze toward the approaching glow. Soon, she could make out shapes, gentle, shimmering beings made of light and mist, floating just above the surface of the lake. They moved gracefully, their forms like flowing ribbons of stardust, each carrying a small, glowing lantern in their hands. The lanterns were filled with dreams, glowing softly in every color of the rainbow. "They gather the dreams the stars send," the owl explained in a hushed, reverent tone. "They make sure each one reaches the heart it belongs to." Lulu stepped closer to the water's edge, her breath caught in awe as one of the dream keepers drifted near. It paused and looked at her with eyes that glowed like moonlit pools. Though it said nothing, Lulu felt warmth bloom in her chest, a wordless hello that wrapped her heart in comfort. The dream keeper knelt, dipping its lantern into the water. When it lifted it again, a new starry ripple glowed beneath, floating toward Lulu's hooves. She gasped softly as a tiny beam of light swirled around her legs before floating up to the sky, where it joined the other stars above. "That one's for you," the owl murmured. "A gift from the night itself, a dream that will stay with you always." More dream keepers appeared, gliding over the lake, setting dreams afloat like delicate paper boats. Lulu watched in wonder as glowing shapes of hope, kindness, and laughter floated away on invisible currents toward distant homes and hearts. A pale yellow dream shaped like a small, smiling sun floated upward, perhaps bound for a lonely fox in the hills who needed warmth tonight. A soft pink dream shaped like a hug traveled toward a burrow where a little rabbit slept, waiting for comfort. The longer Lulu watched, the more peaceful her heart felt. It was as if every good feeling in the world had gathered here tonight: love, friendship, safety, happiness, all flowing across the starry lake, filling the quiet night with promises of better dreams for everyone. She sat back down on her patch of grass, resting her chin on her paws, the owl now beside her. "It feels like the whole world is safe here," she whispered, her voice a sleepy sigh. "It is," the owl replied gently. "That's the lake's gift. No fear, no sadness, just the promise of light, even in the darkest night." The dream keepers continued their silent dance, lifting and releasing dreams into the sky and water. A cool, fragrant mist drifted toward Lulu, smelling of moonflowers and sweet rain, making her eyes droop with drowsy delight. She felt her breath slowing, her body relaxing in a way it hadn't in a long time. The glow from the dream keepers painted soft patterns on the grass around her, making it feel like she was already floating in a dream. One dream keeper approached closer than the others. It extended a glowing hand, and in its palm was a tiny star that pulsed warmly. Lulu hesitated for a moment, then leaned forward, her nose brushing the star. The moment she touched it, her whole world filled with a warm, golden feeling, like being cuddled by every friend she'd ever loved, like hearing Mama Llama's lullaby on the softest nights. The star floated slowly into her lantern, merging with its glow, making it shine brighter than before. "This one will stay with you," the owl said quietly. "Whenever you need peace, whenever you need to feel loved, this light will remind you of tonight." Lulu's heart felt so full it almost floated away. She curled up again on the grass, her lantern glowing beside her like a star that had come to live in her dreams. The owl settled next to her, tucking his feathers in, while the dream keepers finished their silent, graceful work, drifting slowly across the lake until all the dreams had been gathered and sent. One by one, the glowing beings faded into the mist, leaving only the silver shimmer of the lake and the quiet night sky above. The moon hung low, watching over the little llama and her friend, as if smiling at the magic they'd shared. The stars blinked slowly, promising to remember this night forever. With one last sleepy look at the lake, Lulu whispered, "Thank you for letting me see the dreams." She let her eyes close, the warmth of the gifted star glowing softly beside her, the world around her so calm, so safe, that it felt like nothing bad could ever reach her here. The starry lake hummed quietly, a lullaby made of water and light, as Lulu drifted closer and closer to the deepest, most peaceful sleep of her life, knowing that the night and its dreams were keeping watch over her until morning's first light. The meadow around the starry lake had grown even quieter now, as if every sound had curled up under a blanket of dreams. Lulu stayed nestled in her soft patch of grass, her lantern glowing brighter than before with the gift from the dreamkeeper. The glow painted her fur in shades of gold and silver, making her look like a tiny star herself lying beside the magical water. The owl remained perched close, his feathers puffed up for warmth, his big eyes half closed yet always watching, protective and kind. The night sky above seemed endless, stretching into forever. Thousands of stars blinked softly, and the Milky Way stretched across the horizon like a giant, glittering river. Lulu tilted her head up and sighed happily, feeling small but safe, like the whole universe was a giant cozy quilt tucking her in. The starry lake reflected every bit of that sky, making it look as if she were floating between two worlds of starlight, one above, one below, perfectly still and peaceful. A new sound joined the hush of the night, a slow, melodic hum carried on the breeze. Lulu flicked her ears curiously. It was soft and low, almost like a lullaby, but not from anyone she could see. The owl opened one eye and smiled gently. "That," he whispered, "is the lake singing to you. It sings to every dreamer who listens." Lulu closed her eyes for a moment and let the sound wash over her. It felt warm, like sunbeams on a cool morning, and soft, like the way Mama Llama would nuzzle her when it was time for bed. The melody seemed to travel straight into her heart, settling her deeper into the grass. She felt every worry, every restless thought, melt away like mist under the sun, leaving only calm, quiet happiness behind. As the song continued, the water began to glow brighter. Tiny motes of light lifted off the lake's surface, drifting upward like floating fireflies made of stardust. They swirled around Lulu and the owl, making little halos of gold that shimmered before floating higher into the sky. "Those," the owl explained softly, "are dream blessings. They find their way to hearts that need them most." One of the dream blessings hovered near Lulu, spinning slowly before settling on her nose like a snowflake. She giggled softly, the sound barely louder than a breath, and felt warmth spread through her chest again. In her heart, a thought appeared, not in words, but in feeling, a promise that her dreams tonight would be full of comfort, joy, and love that would stay with her long after morning came. Just as she was about to curl back into her blanket of grass, a gentle splash came from the far side of the lake. Lulu lifted her head to see small glowing ripples forming on the water. Slowly, a figure emerged, not frightening, but small and sweet. A family of silver fish, their scales glimmering like tiny moons, swam toward her side of the lake. Each fish carried a faint glow in its belly, and as they swam closer, Lulu could see they were carrying tiny glowing orbs, more dreams, cradled safely in their little fins. The fish swirled near the shore, releasing their orbs into the water. Each orb floated upward, joining the other drifting lights in the sky. Lulu's eyes widened with wonder. "Even the fish help with dreams," she whispered. The owl chuckled softly. "Every creature here has a role. Even the smallest ones help the night keep dreams alive." Lulu lay her chin back on the grass, watching the fish swirl and dance in the glowing water. The sight made her heart feel lighter than ever. She thought about all the little animals and children out there, sleeping under this same sky, about how the lake and its friends worked quietly every night to make sure their dreams were full of kindness. It made her chest ache in the best way, like her heart was too full of love to hold still. The dream blessings drifted slower now, spiraling upward into the night sky until only a few soft glows remained. The fish swam back into the deeper water, their silver tails leaving trails of light behind them that slowly faded into ripples. The owl shifted closer to Lulu, his wing brushing her back like a comforting blanket. "Rest now, little dreamer," he murmured, his voice the softest sound in the world. "You've seen the magic, you've shared your dream, and the lake has given you its promise. Tonight, your sleep will be full of stars." Lulu curled herself tightly, tucking her nose into her fluffy fur. Her lantern floated just above the grass now, glowing faintly like a second moon watching over her. The lullaby from the lake faded into a hush, the kind of silence that feels like being held close and rocked gently. The breeze slowed to a whisper, rustling the grass around her like bedtime stories only the night could tell. Her breathing grew slower, matching the rhythm of the lake's ripples, her little heart calm and steady. She felt safe, wrapped not just in the night but in something bigger, a love that seemed to stretch from the stars above to the glowing water below, a promise that every dream tonight, and every night after, would be gentle and full of wonder. As she drifted closer to sleep, Lulu had one last hazy thought, warm and soft. If every heart in the world could spend just one night here, they'd know what it feels like to be truly loved and safe. And with that thought glowing in her chest, her eyes fluttered shut, and the starry lake sang its final lullaby, carrying her into a dream where endless meadows and starlit waters waited just for her, forever peaceful, forever kind. The starry lake seemed to slow its glow as if sensing that Lulu was now drifting far into the warm embrace of dreams. The night around the little llama grew even more still, yet full of quiet magic. The owl, her new guardian friend, sat watchfully beside her, his eyes soft but alert, his feathers glimmering faintly with the light of the floating lantern. The meadow smelled of moonflowers and soft rain, and the air hummed with the tiniest notes of the lake's lullaby, carrying promises of endless comfort. The moon had moved lower in the sky now, its silver light spilling like a river across the meadow. It kissed Lulu's soft fur, making her glow faintly as she slept. The lantern at her side flickered gently, its little star, the gift from the dream keeper, shining steady and true, as if guarding her sleep. Every now and then, a dream blessing floated down from the sky, landing softly near her hooves or brushing her cheek like a feather, then fading with a shimmer of light that melted into her dreams. But the night wasn't quite done weaving its story. As Lulu slept peacefully, the starry lake began to move differently. Its waters stirred, slow and calm, forming small spirals of light. The owl tilted his head, smiling knowingly. Ah, he murmured to himself, the lake is preparing a journey for her dreams. From the water, a pathway of light formed, glowing like a bridge made of stars. It stretched outward, curling gently above the lake, as if it wanted Lulu to walk across it in her dreams. And though her body stayed curled in the soft meadow grass, her dream self, a little glowing version of Lulu, rose quietly, guided by the magic of the lake. She looked around in wonder, her heart light as air, and the owl gave her a tiny nod. Go on, his voice echoed softly in her dream, this is your special adventure. Dream Lulu stepped onto the glowing bridge, her hooves making no sound. The surface beneath her shimmered like warm silk, holding her steady as she walked toward the center of the lake. Around her, the water reflected a sky brighter than any she'd seen before. The stars above were enormous, twinkling like friendly eyes watching over her, and new constellations she had never noticed before formed glowing pictures of llamas, owls, and other peaceful creatures dancing among clouds. At the heart of the lake, the path led to a glowing island floating above the water. It was covered in soft, cloud-like grass that glowed faintly, and a giant tree stood in the middle, its branches heavy with star-shaped blossoms. Each blossom pulsed with light, and when Lulu got closer, she heard soft murmurs coming from them, tiny, kind words and voices full of love. You are safe. You are cherished. Sweet dreams forever. Lulu touched one of the blossoms with her nose, and it drifted down like a feather, landing on her fur and filling her heart with a warmth that made her eyes sparkle. She knew this tree was where the most precious dreams were born, the ones that healed hearts, that carried happiness and love even after morning came. She looked around and saw other dream creatures here too, a rabbit made of starlight, a glowing fawn, a family of tiny birds with shimmering wings. They were all gathering blossoms to send out into the world, to little dreamers everywhere. The tree swayed gently as if it recognized Lulu's kind heart. A blossom brighter than the rest floated down, landing in front of her. She picked it up carefully, feeling its light hum like a song inside her. A dream just for her, a promise that no matter where she went, this warmth, this safety, would always be in her heart. She tucked the blossom close, and it melted into her chest, becoming part of her forever. When the dream adventure was over, the starry bridge carried her softly back to the meadow, where her sleeping body lay curled in the real world. Dream Lulu settled back inside herself with a peaceful sigh, her lantern glowing brighter, the star inside pulsing with joy. The lake's magic quieted once more, its water settling, its job done for tonight. By now, dawn was beginning to kiss the horizon, painting it with pale pink and soft gold. The owl stretched his wings and let out a gentle hoot. It's almost time to wake up, little dreamer, he said softly, though Lulu still slept deeply, her breathing slow and calm. The fireflies gathered around one last time, leaving trails of sleepy light, as if giving their farewells before the morning sun rose. Finally, Lulu stirred. She blinked her big, round eyes open, the soft light of sunrise warming her fur. For a moment, she didn't move, just listening to the calm around her, the quiet lake, the rustling leaves, the owl's gentle presence. Her heart still glowed with the dream's warmth, the memory of the starry bridge and the blossom that had become part of her forever. She stood slowly, stretching her little legs and shaking dew from her coat. The lantern floated beside her, still glowing softly with the dream-keeper's gift. The owl fluttered down and landed near her, bowing his head slightly. "You've been given a rare dream," he said kindly. "Keep it with you always, Lulu, and remember this place whenever you need peace." Lulu nuzzled the owl in thanks, her eyes shining with gratitude. She turned to look at the starry lake one last time, its surface calm now, reflecting the rising sun instead of the stars. "Thank you," she whispered to the lake, her voice full of love. A single ripple moved across the water as if answering, "You are always welcome here." With her lantern swaying softly at her side, Lulu began the slow walk home through the meadow, the morning air cool and fresh, carrying the last scent of moonflowers. Every step felt lighter, her heart full of calm, kindness, and the gentle promise of the night's magic. She knew she would dream sweetly for many nights to come, and that somewhere, under another quiet sky, the starry lake would be there, waiting to share its light again. And as Lulu trotted home, the sun rose higher, warming the world, but far above, the stars still winked faintly, as if keeping their secret promise, every dreamer is safe. Every heart is loved. And the night will always find a way to bring you back to its gentle glow. Please subscribe to our channel and tell me in comments from where are you watching this video.